Hi, mamas. Let's talk about exercise in your first pregnancy. So, I am a midwife, and my goal is to get babies out of the body without interventions like C-sections. And so, my standpoint is from what happens in labor and what we do during pregnancy to help our babies to come out easily. So, the difference between my perspective and a fitness instructor is opening the space for baby to come out. Your fitness instructors want to keep those muscles toned and tight, and they have wonderful goals like cardio. But I need to caution you that with your first pregnancy, we need to open and loosen and not tighten, okay? So set aside those goals to be Fit Mama of the Year and set aside your CrossFit and set aside your baby body boot camp. And let's talk about what is exercise that's appropriate for the first time mother. Okay, now let's talk about your age. Okay, if you are teens and 20s, your body tends to be really loose and flexible and adaptive, and these babies tend to be able to get through these tissues that are soft and movable pretty decently. And so exercise doesn't usually create too much of a problem unless you're doing something like repetitive movements that create really tight patterns. Okay. The second age group is going to be the 30 to 40-year-olds. Okay. So that's an extra 10 years that patterns have been held in these muscles and ligaments, and you might encounter more problems in your birthing process because of it. Let's look at our pelvis here, okay? So when there's no muscles or ligaments in here, you can see that this baby can get right on through there, get that head back there in that pelvis. Now, when you have tight ligaments and muscles, these ligaments are going to hold that tailbone down and in. This psoas muscle, which is stress. How often do you hold stress in your body? It's going to come here and push babies forward. And all these muscles in here that are your pelvic floor hammock, if they are tight, because from 25 to 35, you've been working and you've been stressed, and now you've got this nice tightness here, then this is going to hold that head up and forward. So what we do for exercise and movement in our body in our first pregnancy is really important. So you need to self-assess where you are at and what you need to do and what you want to do. But what I would encourage you is to consider that our goal is to have flexibility, openness, elasticity in our body for this pregnancy and birth. Okay, so let's go through some of these exercise options that you have. Running. If you are a runner and you run a lot, you tend to have a pattern of repetitive movement, which can lock up the pelvic floor. But honestly, I've seen runners do pretty good with labor and even running throughout the pregnancy. So it's, I feel like, good. But if that's all you're doing and you're doing a lot and it's been what you've done a lot of, you really need to probably get things open, because runners are tight and they've been doing this and they have tight hips and tight hamstrings. So you need to get those hamstrings super stretched out. You need to get this open. You need to get this tailbone back. So add in some dance, add in some yoga, because yoga really gets that hamstring, because like this is tight and you do that downward dog and you know how you can really get that stretch in the back. Yes, so you need that if you're a runner. So keep running, but no more than 3 times a week. So making sure you're mixing it up and make sure you are decreasing it. So you should, don't go run a marathon or half marathon. Just run for movement and cardio, but drop all your goals off, okay? So let's talk about dancing. If you have any pattern of dance in your background that caused you to have your legs, instead of your feet being forward, your feet were out, okay? So this creates a tightening in the back of the pelvis by having our feet out. So we want to do lots of things that our feet are forward so that this back portion that was tight comes out. So again, yoga with that good stretch back there. Dancing like belly dance that has a much more openness here, okay? And that's really creating, if you did ballet, you're probably tight in certain areas. So we would kind of open this up here. I really like this body groove. You can subscribe to it. It's very reasonably priced, and it's a lot about getting into your own flow and rhythm. So I love that it's going to take this tight psoas muscle, and you're going to do these waves, and you're just going to get in your body. And so moving from barre and ballet to belly dance, which is a traditional exercise for pregnant women. Okay, now CrossFitters and those who really like, this is for you who tend to have big adrenaline boosts in your system. You are getting up in the morning, you have energy, you go, 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 you're driven, might have some anxiety in there, love to burn off that adrenaline, you love those intense exercises. If we say jump further, you're like, I'm gonna do it. So for you, I need you to chill out that adrenal system, to create a hippie flow and openness, not only to balance out that stress in your system, because that CrossFit type stuff is stress and it is raising cortisol and your baby is getting exposed to that. So you have got to be getting that deep breathing flow stuff in there, okay? Not, and I don't mean don't go to CrossFit one day and go to like the intense P90X yoga the next day. I mean, you go to like the one where you lay in that position for 5 minutes in order to get your hip opened. So we need to do this balancing of our energy levels with our exercise. If you have been going all day, stressed, you need relaxation and deep breathing in your movement. That might be a nice walk, and then some stretching for that day, and then maybe another day you get to do some intensity, because cardio is awesome and wonderful. And if you don't get cardio, you're gonna feel terrible at the end of your pregnancy, and you're gonna really suck at your recovery from birth. So cardio is super important, but cardio can be walking fast for 20 minutes. It can be getting on the elliptical. I really like the elliptical idea. Not a big fan of cycling, particularly beyond second trimester, because cycling is a very tight movement going on, whereas elliptical, you get the wave form going in the back with the elliptical, and we want that wave in the back. Classic aerobics are wonderful. Dancing, Zumba. You just don't want to hurt yourself, okay? Loose ligaments, loose joints, might pull something if you're doing some major breakdance move. Oh, suddenly that ligament, that looseness there, and you pull a ligament and whatnot, or have pubic symphysis dysfunction. So you have to tone it back. Don't do quite as hard of jumping and twisting. And try to keep the legs a little more symmetrical together once, particularly third trimester, or that pubic bone can really go out. So whatever you're doing, moderate it, not quite as intense, Yes, get your cardio, raise the heart rate for 20 minutes at least 3 times a week. Counter the intense stuff, the tightening stuff, counter it with the opening stuff. Really good hamstring stretching, really good hip openers. Squats, love squats, but squats are not to gain muscle in pregnancy, okay? You are not bodybuilding squats in pregnancy. You are squatting to stretch and open. So an ideal squat, your feet are nice and aligned, tailbone is back, shoulders are up. So you're getting a really great stretch in this back part through that squat, and you're opening up some of the posterior on those legs too. So first pregnancy squatting for openness and stretching. It is not for bodybuilding and it's not for tightening, okay? We'll go more into the breathing and using the pelvic floor at another time, but imagine that you squat and you're breathing and you're pulling in. So you're stretching out and you're pulling in. You're not like tightening, you're not holding it forever. We're elasticity in, elasticity out. So air in, air out, creating this, if you imagine a stretchy, beautiful, strong, but elastic muscles of a dancer, okay? We want everything to be loose. We want the belly to be coming forward. So we want the abs to relax, okay? If you want a six-pack, not the time. If you had a six-pack, you're gonna need to work really hard on opening up those abs by really getting baby out front. Because if your abs are gonna hold, okay, abs are up here holding baby in, baby's going straight into your lungs, held really high, baby cannot get down, baby might be breech. Okay, baby is in a bad position. So we need this uterus to create openness so this head can sink down and this back can go forward and give you that nice pregnant belly, creating that openness. Embrace that walk where your hips are open, your belly is forward, and you will feel so much better if your belly comes out forward than pushing that baby up into your ribs by holding it in. And you don't want to breech baby. You're not even going to be able to find very easily a breech birth option. It's a C-section basically. So exercise, openness, movement, these are our key words, not tightening, but opening and creating tone and resiliency in our body and creating cardiac health and wellness so we have good energy. We can handle all the cardiac demands and weight demands of pregnancy and birthing, and we can recover and feel great. And so exercise appropriately for your first, second, and third trimester. Work with a fitness person whose goal is the same as my goal, which is for your baby to be in the good position for birthing and for your body to be able to birth easily and open up to allowing you to have this baby come to you through the proper passage, which is the pelvis, and not through the abdominal passage, hopefully. So good luck. And share some ideas of what you like. There's a couple of programs out there. One that I really do believe in, because I love what they're posting about the physiology of what matters for birth, is One Strong Mama. So I'll put a link here for you to do that. If you are interested in her program, please use my link because I do get a little affiliate for that. But I think it's a program you get to keep using, and I've had clients use it before and really like it because it was really easy to turn on at home and really easy to kind of have your exercises laid out for the week if you're not that motivated yourself. But good luck. You've got this. Get that exercise in and get your body happy about this pregnancy and working towards your baby's goals to come here earthside safely, easily, and well.